All right, hello guys. And for anyone that's coming into the stream, for anyone that's rewatching, we have done a POV thing before. This is different. I didn't know how to title it, make a thumbnail that really showed what I wanted to do. So yeah, but what I wanted to do, okay, is someone suggested that I do a bracket ranking all of the chapters. For obvious reasons, that's like kind of insane. So what I thought we could do instead, it inspired a little bit of an idea, is I was like, okay, why don't we instead do something where we rank every POV, but not as in like, let's do like Jon, rank him as a POV. No, I mean rank Jon in a Game of Thrones, rank Jon in a Clash of Kings, rank Jon in Storm of Swords, like each book individually, how is their POV? So that's kind of how it's different. And so that's the best I could come up with. But yeah, it's also going to be a kind of a little bit of an interesting setup because I basically took the tier list maker, more or less like what they use. I then took that and put it on Canva because there's no like tier list that has what I need it to be. So I'm just going to like do some text or whatnot. But yeah. Hi, Zeno. How are you? But I'm probably gonna have to explain that again at some point. But yeah, no, it is what it is. But I also wanted to say I decided to stream a little bit earlier today just because we may or may not be getting snow, and so power might become an issue. It's also supposed to have really high winds tonight, and yeah, all sorts of weather stuff. Plus, then some family health issues where may have to go to the ER tonight. Not for me personally, but for, other people. So if that does occur, I wanted to at least get a stream out before that happens. So yeah. And yeah, I just have a lot of stuff to do. So anybody joining chat, anybody in the stream, let me know how your day was, what you're doing. Do anything fun today. I can tell you my day wasn't that great. Got a back injection this morning at like, 9 a.m. Came home. It's also cheat day. Friday is always usually cheat day. Ate some good stuff. And then went to sleep. And then after I got up, I did some I finished my Feast for Crows conclusion. So I am done with recording all of my Feast for Crows stuff. I'm pretty much done with editing all my Feast for Crows stuff too, because any videos I'm going to be doing on Feast for Crows is just going to be like breaking this last video that's coming out tomorrow into other parts or combining it into a bigger video. So I'm kind of done with that. And it is kind of like, man, it feels kind of weird, but my parents left the country and I'm on vacation from work, man. That's kind of crazy, Zeno. What do you do for work? Out of curiosity, what are you doing? Like on this business? Are you on a business trip? I'm assuming. Or no, you're on vacation from work. So, okay. So what do you do for work, and where did you go to vacation to? That's a better thing to say. But yeah. So what I wanted to do as well. So we're also gonna be using like stream chat again. Let me, how does this look on stream? Does this look bad? Yeah, okay. So let me just make this its own little thingy-mabobber. So, the way I would want to do this, okay, so let's start out with, for instance, Ned, a Game of Thrones. It's kind of, okay, that's a bad example. Let's do Dany, a Game of Thrones. Because she's in multiple books, it makes more sense. So then I would be theoretically asking you guys, chat, where would you put Dany's plotline or her POV in book 1? That's more or less what we're trying to do here. And then I might take some of this and then make it into like a bracket. I don't know. We'll see. You work at Home Depot. That's pretty cool. Home Depot. How is it working at Home Depot? Out of curiosity, like, Zeno, what do you do there? Is it like a chill job, or is it more like, you're pretty busy a lot of the time. I'm curious. I didn't go anywhere special, but I had 40 hours of vacation time and I had to take it or else I would lose it. Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. Well, did you do anything fun for your vacation time? Or just nice little, I don't know, just break time? Also, welcome to the stream, Josh. We're doing a tier list on not like the whole POV, like not Danny POV, but like Danny's like POV is in the first book. And so we'll go from the next book, whatever. And so this is a different way of doing like the POV tier list. So if you do want to vote in that tier list, you know. Also, probably wasn't the best idea to do this when I'm streaming before people get off and not on my normal time. So, you know. Hi, random stuff. How are you? Yeah, anybody coming to stream? We're basically going to rank all of the Game of Thrones POVs, and then we'll go to a Clash of Kings POVs, and we'll do all that. But yeah, that is more or less the premise. I took the idea from, I believe it was last stream. I think Ander said we should do a bracket of all the chapters, and that's just not really practical, given that that would take like at least like 3 months worth of streams to even accomplish. But I'm okay with surprised by the thing while I was modeling some stuff. You'd love to see that, but yeah, a little early. I already kind of explained it, but more or less, just to stay on the safe side, I wanted to give you guys a live stream, and I wanted to do it rather earlier because of some things that are going on later tonight, whether that be family stuff, health stuff, and or weather. So it just seemed like the best idea to kind of, you know, do it early. I work as order fulfillment. It's actually more fun than being a cashier. Pull people's orders, then make online and stage it to the pickup location in the store. Yeah, that sounds like way better. So like I am someone that also like I am someone that works in a grocery store and I'm more of a stalker. So I, you know, put things out, and I at one point my grocery store I work at, it's not big enough to like have like a really online order type situation. But when COVID was coming out, or was a big thing, I worked like in the online department and filling orders and stuff, so I can kind of relate to that. But it's very chill, given that it's a local grocery store. It's pretty chill. Hi, Violet. How are you? I used to work at UPS and Home Depot. UPS was a bit of a hard job. I got the holidays. Well, that's the thing. I think all of those like delivery type jobs, like Amazon and UPS and all that, they seem like some really tough jobs. I've never had anybody that I know of work those jobs, but they do seem quite interesting. Character POVs fluctuate in quality or excitement throughout the book, so rating book by book is totally fair. Yeah, I think it makes it a little bit more consistent because, like, for instance, Dany. It's like when you rank Dany as a POV, I feel like you can't rank her below A because, again, I think book 1, right, from the votes I'm seeing so far, there's only been 4. I think it's a little unfair that she's anywhere below A, if you want me to be honest. Like, this, I mean, again, I'm rereading the books, and I'm only basically halfway through her plot line. But in my opinion, she's, outside of maybe Ned, the best POV of the book. Now, I know after Viserys dies, she kind of has a couple of chapters where it's like, it's not as good. But, I don't know, I think Dany book 1 is probably my favorite Dany. So, hi, Ashley. How are you? I can post on the server later. You should. I always like seeing new things and such. For once, I'm there live. Well, welcome, Panic. I hope you enjoy the stream. But yeah, for any new viewers coming in, the voting, if you want to vote in this stuff, is in the chat. And it's basically voting what you think of Dany's plot, or her plot lines or chapters in a Game of Thrones. After we go through Dany, we'll just basically, this stream, my goal, I don't know how long I'm going to let these votes go for, is to just get through book 1 and maybe some of book 2. Struggling allergies are killing me. I feel that, Ashley. Ever since the new year, so as you guys know, a lot of you probably know, like all of last week, I was sick with different problems like every 2 days. So 2 day for like 1 or 2 days, throat and ear were killing me. The next 2 days, it was nose and like a headache or sinus pressure. And then like a day after that, it was like not really any of those things, but it was like just coughing. And so now I'm like, I kind of like just have a little bit of that like, like allergy stuff as well. Actually, it's not too bad. Like I can deal with it, but I definitely get that. I also got a new semester of class at the end of January. I'm just a year younger than you, so I'm trying to get an associate's degree. Well, good luck with that, Zeno. And yeah, I am someone that definitely struggled to figure out what I wanted to do in college, so it's definitely taken me like longer than it should have, but I'm finally in a field where I kind of feel like I'm kind of happy with. But yeah, that's a whole nother thing is because of school now, I have basically no free time. Like because I'm doing 2 channels and this one is more like my regular, but the other one I'm trying to kind of ride on. That channel is getting more exposure. YouTube is like recommending it a lot more. And because Percy Jackson's out, it's like I have a lot of stuff I'm doing in between both of these channels. And so I have that. I have my regular job that I'm working like 22, 23 hours a week. And then I also am a full-time student right now. So, yeah. And then my also my hours for school is just terrible. Like it's just terrible. Because they were originally going to be really good. I was going to get out really early on Monday and Wednesdays. I'd be done by like 4. That's, pretty solid. And then Tuesday and Thursdays, I would be done just before work. So I'd have Fridays kind of like to do just a rest day. And then Monday and Wednesdays, I'd be kind of done earlier. And so that just went out the window because the university changed one of my classes and they didn't send out an email. They didn't say anything. And so now I have a class that's from 6 to 7:15. And that is absolutely terrible because I live 45 minutes away from the university. So I'm literally not home on Monday and Wednesdays until like 8 o'clock at night. And so that's okay. Eat, shower, do whatever stuff I need to do. It's like, it's overwhelming. And that's every Monday and Wednesday. So it's like Tuesday and Thursday, I go to school and then work. And then I'm back by like 8, 9. Friday is like my only day where it's like, I don't have school, don't have work. And then Saturday and Sunday, I work both days. So, yeah, it's not great. Also, you're getting to 4,000 subs. Yes, we are getting close to that. Would love to see that. What's your honest take on Disney Plus's Percy Jackson? So, Josh, if you want a really good, like, detailed opinion on this, I would check my second channel. It's Eric Reviews. It should be, I don't know if it's linked in the stream, but it's linked on, like, my homepage. But I think it's good, but not great. It kind of reminds me a lot of House of the Dragon. Because it's like, there's a lot of book changes that I just think are very questionable. I think 8 episodes was too few. They needed more episodes, very similar to House of the Dragon. A lot of the same complaints that I had for House of the Dragon are the same complaints I have for Percy Jackson. And so I don't think Percy Jackson's bad, right? It's not bad. It's every episode has kind of been between a 7 and an 8 to me. Like the last episode that came out was 7.5. I think the episode before that was the best one. It was an 8 for me. And so I think there's just certain things where I think they do a good job on. And I think there's other things that they don't do such a good job on. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag. It's definitely a mixed bag for me so far. They really haven't nailed it yet. So, hopefully, they get more of a budget and the next season's better. Or at least these last 3 episodes, they really bang out because they've changed a lot of the ways they've done scenes from the books. And it seems because in the books, they're much more, I guess, not over the top, but there's more that happens in them that it would be harder to bring to screen. And I just don't think this show had the support financially behind it, kind of bring all those to life. So you kind of have to change the way things happen. And sometimes that affects the plot. It affects, how characters are. So it's been a little bit of that I think's been, eh. Oh, yeah, the show is way better than the movies. It's not even close. I mean, the movies didn't have the essence down of any of the characters, really, except for, like, maybe Chiron. that I can really remember. Maybe Luke. Luke wasn't too bad at least in the first movie anyway. I'm trying to remember here. The plot was all over the place in the movie. It's at least sticking to broadly what the book is. Like, let me put it that way. Like, it's sticking to more or less what the book is. For now, that's how we're going to do that. I don't know if that's going to work the best, but for now, that's what we're going to do. So that's kind of like my quick review of it, but I don't know. Why is it showing my mouse in the screen right now? Literally on a completely different page. Okay. Honestly, I think for the budget the direction has failed. At this rate, I'm just hoping that they dumped the majority of the money into the Ares fight. So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Like to a point, like there's just certain things where I'm like, I can't judge it yet, right? I can't say, oh, this is a failure for me personally yet, because I don't know how it's going with certain things. So for instance, spoilers for episode 5. The end part of there's a whole second plot, which is Grover and Ares. And the whole plot line is basically like, who stole the Master Bolt? Something that's not in the book at all. And it just doesn't really... It's not like the character of Grover. It's completely out of character for the character of who Grover really is. Also, the information that Grover knows, you shouldn't really be able to understand who maybe did it, or at least come to a conclusion that he does in the show. And so we end off at this point where, like, the ending is like, oh yeah, he knows who stole the Master Bolt. And I'm just like, he doesn't actually know, but like, it's just like, it's very jarring. It feels like, let's leave you on this cliffhanger when it doesn't really add up. I don't know. There's just things where I'm like, I don't really get it. All right, let me put another one down here, and then I will get to your question, Ashley. Sansa, A Game of Thrones. This one might be controversial. I'm gonna put the D tier in here as well. I don't even know if I can put A. I don't think she's A, but I'll do that. We'll go with that. What do you think of that tinfoil Mel uses Davos's finger bones to burn Shireen there? Okay, let me look at it. Because again, I haven't had a lot of time to look at comments. So let me look at it. Because I saw you had a bigger comment for that video. So let me go to it. Okay. Heard of him that Mel might try to save herself from this for burning by glamour someone as soon as you may glamour herself to look like Davos when she does so. It just explains to these thoughts about Abbas that make good glamours, one of which is a bag of finger bones. Davos is missing his. People think Mel could have them, given that he lost them in the Blackwater. I doubt this, but who knows? Maybe Mel switched them out before the battle. I also think that the story would fall apart once the real Davos is asked. So I find the scenario unlikely. Nevertheless, it isn't. Yeah, I think it's very interesting, but like you said, like, it does seem very jarring on how she got the finger bones. So to me, I don't really subscribe to it, but again, I usually don't like the very outlandish, like not outlandish, but the very different theories. So for me personally, Ashley, I'd probably agree with you and say no. See, Josh, maybe it's because I'm not the most cinematic savvy. Like, I don't know the best filming techniques and stuff like that. I didn't have a problem with the way the show looked. I thought the show looked fairly good. My problem was the editing. I think the editing in between scenes is bad. Like, the way they transition from scene to scene is so bad. Like, for instance, okay, hold on. Do I have transitions on Streamlabs? No, okay. So on OBS, when I go in between like scenes like that, it does like a fade, or it'll do something interesting. The show just goes to black, and I'm just like, okay, really bad. Honestly, I found Grover more entertaining than the show Grover. Yeah, so that's the other thing, Zeno, is I think Grover is a character that I don't think either the movie or the show has gotten down. Like, Grover is a character that, I'm trying to think of a good comparison to Song of Ice and Fire. I think Sam from A Song of Ice and Fire is a good representation of Grover, because Sam is like someone that lacks confidence. He's someone that has a lot of issues in his past that he has to like overcome. And so Grover, when we get into the first book, he's someone that, again, he's already failed at being a protector, a searcher. getting his license, and he fails basically again with Percy, and so that actually has a really big detriment to his character. It has detriment to where you go with him as a character, and so they haven't explored that at all in the show so far. They've completely cut out his plotline so far, almost entirely from this show. And so when you have his plotline's gone, the character doesn't really feel like the character of Grover. Yeah, it's like at that point, it's like I'd rather have, if we're not going to follow the actual character of Grover, I'd rather the Grover be entertaining and just not exposition dump. Like Grover for the first 3 episodes until the very end of episode 3, it's just a plot dump. Like he just is there to explain things or dump knowledge to the audience or Percy. And so I agree with you on that, Zeno. They glossed over the importance of the master early on to the show's detriment. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I think, Josh, what you guys are saying is like, that's why to me it's like a 7 or an 8, is because the showrunners already, right? Only 30-minute episodes. A lot of the episodes are only 30 minutes. Plus, it's only 8 episodes. That's not a lot of time to tell this story in its fullest. And so I think that's a big part of it as well. I watched both movies before I ever read the book, so to me, it was just a forgettable movie franchise, but then I read the books, and I understood everyone hating. It was like yeah. So, Violet, that's the thing, is like, they basically tried to combine book 2, 4, and 5 into the second movie, and it just was a mess. It was all over the place, but yeah. Sam, yeah, that's another good comparison, Josh, right? I was trying to do a Song of Ice and Fire comparison, but yeah, that's a really good comparison as well, right? The only thing I like about Sansa's POV is the Hound's presence. Fair enough. But actually, we get to see Joffrey get mauled in the Sansa chat. That's true. That's true. Okay. So we're sitting at a B or a C right now. Okay. I'm probably going to go B here just because it is close, but there's 10% in that A, so it is kind of leaning towards like A, B range. All right, so I'll put Sansa in B. I'm cool with that. Here's what we're going to do though. Control C this. Yeah, see, we're being smart now. Now I don't got to type a Game of Thrones every single time. Do that. And then we'll do... Yeah, let's line that up, dude. For my OCD, yeah, I like that. I like that. Who should we do next? Let's do Arya. This is so confusing because I have like 3 different things. If Streamlabs was just optimized better to where like I could actually access the chat through Streamlabs like I can on OBS, oh my god, we'd be in a way better place right now. But another thing I want to point out, given that I will be doing something a little bit different in next week's stream. Next week's stream, I don't think I will be streaming, because I don't know how it's going to work out with doing someone else's stream, because we have to, I don't know if we're doing webcams. This is the whole thing. If I'm doing my webcam on Voice of Old Town's stream, I probably won't be able to stream because we have to do a whole thing on Skype, and it's a whole big stupid thing. I wish somebody would learn how to integrate that better so you can have your own webcam and somebody else's without having to download a virtual camera to then capture theirs. The whole big deal. But I most likely won't be streaming next week, but I will be on Voice of Old Town's stream. It'll be his first stream, and so he asked me to come on for his first stream. Given that it is his first stream, it's a little daunting, so I will be on there. We'll be talking about some House of the Dragon. We'll be talking about some Winds of Winter. So, if you guys are interested in that, make sure you're subscribing to that. And I'll be over there next week. But, yeah. I hate how Dany's dragons went down in the show. Yeah. I mean, okay, Zeno, one of the biggest memories I have about Season 8 was Rhaegal was always my favorite dragon, right? And so when Rhaegal just out of nowhere got sniped by Euron in what, episode 4, I think it's 4. And I was just sitting there at the TV, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what? You're telling me, okay, I know it's been talked to death about it, but it's like, how did we go from a time where you had the Blackfish, aka Rob in the show, really, like, having scouts, people are, watching their movements, or shooting birds so people can't get messages out of where they are, to Danny just doesn't have these tactics at all. He has dragons and can't see this whole fucking fleet, and then her dragon gets just one-shotted, no-scoped, and I'm just like, dude, what the hell? And then, okay, so Viserion's death is just used as a plot device. So, season 7 isn't even really like a plot season. It's really just plot contrivances. Like, the whole point of season 7 is to get Viserion and Dany, or Drogon, I guess all for dragons, north, so that the Night King can take one. Because the D&D wrote themselves into a corner. How do we get the White Walkers to come south? Well, you didn't do the Horn of Winter plot, so that's out. Like, you haven't done anything that could really... You can make an argument as this is how the wall came down, or this is how a segment of the wall came down. So it's like, well, you kind of need a dragon, I guess. Have you tried StreamYard as a streaming tool? No. Okay, so Niners fan, okay? By the way, good luck to the Niners. I know they don't play this week. They play next week. I am rooting for them. I like a lot of their players. Fantasy football, I won the Grease Goblin League this year. For the second year in a row, by the way. And the 49ers players have been very helpful in that. I've had George Kittle 2 years in a row. Last year I had, I think I had Brandon Ayuk, Debo, George Kittle, and Elijah Mitchell. So, I will say, though, my NFC team is the Cardinals. So, yeah, that's a whole thing. But what does StreamYard do? I don't even know what it does as a tool. I find Arya doesn't pick up until Clash. I kind of agree with you, Ryan. I like Arya's last couple chapters in the Game of Thrones, but she doesn't really have a lot of chapters in this book. And so I think she gets much better in the next 2 books specifically. So for me personally, if I was doing this, I would probably put her to B or A. But I agree with you, Violet. I 100% agree. That's why I'd be like, you guys are kind of where I'd be. I think I would be I think Arya's B+. I think she's in between A and in between B, because I think she's better than Sansa in this book, but she's not on the same level as Dany. So it's a really hard position to put her at, I think. I missed the vote, but I am S tier for Dany and Game of Thrones. I read them all as the novella, which we won the Nebula or Hugo Award. Ooh, okay. Love to see that. I will say, I also would probably rank Dany S tier for a Game of Thrones. She is, I don't know if it's just because I'm doing a reread, and it's you get so many Ned stuff, and you get a lot of the Westeros stuff. I don't know, Dany is just very interesting in this book. I think she's one of the strongest written characters in the first book. And so I just enjoy her journey in book 1, which is weird to say because I'm not really that big of a Dany fan, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I think for me personally, she'd be S tier. I know in my ratings of the book, I'm doing basically, I give a number rating of each chapter. And I know Dany, up to where I am in the book so far, has the second highest average rating of all the chapters that she has and stuff. So Ned is 1, I believe, and then Dany is 2. StreamYard allows you to send someone a link, and you can record both of your cams and also each. Oh, okay, that's really cool. Well, because that might be really useful then. Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot that so I remember it, but that could be really helpful. Which character do you think should have lived a bit longer? I wish Viserys lived since he had a tragic upbringing. I would have liked to see him actually develop and probably die a later date. That's a good one. I do think the one thing with Game of Thrones is I do think Dany, she does dip a little bit because her dynamic with Viserys is one of the reasons I love her in the early part, or at least 3/4 of the way into the first book. So maybe that's a good shout. Another character. Let me think of another character. There's another character that dies that I think could have gotten more time. Aemon. I think seeing Aemon in Old Town one more time would have been good. I would have liked to have seen that. I know it's but I think Aemon would have been a good shot. Also, Sam's POV just after Aemon dies is just Oh man, Eamon was kind of carrying Sam in A Feast for Crows. I'm just saying. But I would go with Eamon in my opinion. Hi Ian, how are you by the way? But yeah, I think a high B. Well, per their logic, Dany could have finished a war against Cersei and done whatever the hell else she wanted because the walkers had no other way to get through the wall. Exactly. Exactly. It's like now you're sitting here and you're going, okay, now I get why she didn't just go burn the castle down, or she didn't actually go fight the Lannisters because, we needed them. But yeah, I think Aemon's a good shout. Because other ones, it's like, okay, I want Robb to live longer, but it's because Robb's my second favorite character in the book. But at the same time, he has a perfect death. So it's like, I can't say Robb, for instance. Ned needed to die when he died. I think of another one. I'm trying to think of another good one. I almost want to say Syrio Farrell, but to be fair, we don't actually know if he's dead. And two, I don't know how that would have continued because it was like Arya kind of going and taking all these teachings and doing her own thing. But I don't know about that one. Mance. But Ashley, Mance is alive though, unless we're talking about the show. Arya's S tier because she's the Forrest Gump of Westeros. Fair enough, April. You know, that's a fair excuse to put her in S. Oh, by the way, guys. Okay, so I was planning on doing a video Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to release it because it's a lot more daunting than I originally thought it was going to be. But I was going to release a Bloodraven video on Sunday about how he's manipulating everything. And so in my class Thursday, the 1 hour and 15-minute class, I was going through, I don't remember their name, but I guess we could talk about the show as well, Ashley. But yeah. But it was basically an entire breakdown of basically the political structure, everything going on, and how Westeros works as a society, and then connecting that with how Bloodraven is motivating the White Walkers or the others to invade Westeros because it'll unify all of Westeros and all this. And it's literally like, I didn't even get done with it. It was like at least 13, 15 pages long. And I sat here and I was like just studying it, just reading it as there was just some random lecture about stuff I already know. Funny enough, the lecture was about, because I did listen to it. I wasn't fully invested, but it was about like what is the model for like building an audience. And I'm sitting here and I'm just like, well, I've had a lot of struggles in the past and I've somewhat made a community on here, so I feel like I got the gist of this. But yeah, so that video might come out this week. It may not come out this week. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to put Arya in A, given that 75% of people have her in at least A or S. So we'll go with that. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I really don't. I don't hate it. What the hell? Oh, right. I screenshotted something. Don't look at that. Nothing bad on it. It's just a little unprofessional, and that's no good. That's just no good. All right. You've got Arya. I didn't capitalize all of her name. It's going to bother me. There we go. All right. Moving on. Let's do Johnny Boy. I think let's do Johnny Boy. John, I'm interested to see what you guys think for John, because I'm almost all the way through John's like plot in the reread, basically. And I'm going to be honest. He's good, but he ain't nowhere near that S tier. Nowhere near. I don't know. That's pretty cool, Theory of Ice and Fire. Arya has so much info in her chapters. Yes, it is true. John also, okay, John has a lot too, because like he is just our main POV at the wall, and so a lot of it's about explaining, a lot of it's like that. I don't know. Seems like there's going to be a lot of A's here. We say that for now, but think about it like this. A Game of Thrones doesn't have a lot of bad chapters, right? I would say it has maybe like one or two where I'm like, man, that's actually a chapter I didn't really like that much. but it has a lot of consistency. And so this just doesn't surprise me. I think all of a Game of Thrones, all the POVs are going to be at least B or higher. But when we get to like Clash, when we get to like Feast, when we get to Dance, I don't think that's going to be the same. But yeah. I really like his first chapter, but the rest are meh. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, it's building up so many different things, right? Because Jon is introduced to a big, different group of cast of people, right? Whereas other characters don't have to do that much character work. They don't have to explain all these things, right? Like, for instance, Arya. She's still around Sansa. We know who she is as a character. She's around Ned a lot. We know who she is, or he is as a character. Like, there's not as much that you have to explore with her character when it comes to, like, people around her. Sansa, kind of the same way. Ned, kind of the same way. Because those three being POVs in the same area, feed off each other. And so Jon has to do so much because he has to build the character of Sam. He has to build who is Aemon, who is Mormont, who is Alistair Thorne, who are the other recruits, even the minor ones that don't seem that important right now, like Daeron, like Pip, like Gren. Like, there's just a lot that has to happen with Jon. But yeah, no, I agree, Ryan. Like, I think Jon, by the end of the book, like, he has a more of a definitive, I guess, character arc in this book. I just think it's a little bit reminiscent of Brienne and Feast, but I think where Brienne's, like, opening chapters are not very good, her ending chapters are fantastic, some of the best of the book. Jon's more like, his setup is more like middle of the pack, okay chapters, and then he has like a good end, but it's not anything crazy. Hi, Agor, by the way. Jon chapters are way better now. I agree. Jon is the same as Arya. They're not bad, but they both pick up a little later. I 100% agree with that. The white attack in the night scene was definitive S tier on its own. That's fair. That's a good one. That is a good one. I love the foreshadowing in the Game of Thrones Jon chapters where Robb is training with Joffrey at Winterfell. Jon is asked why he isn't participating. He says bastards are not allowed to damage your young princes. That's a great moment, right? But that also, I will say, Niners fan, that isn't a Jon chapter. That's actually an Arya chapter. That's Arya's first chapter. Arya's doing needlework, and then she like meets up with Jon, and they watch everyone training. So technically, that point goes to Arya, even though Jon is involved. I already know what I'm going to rate Bran. Oh, I'm interested to see what you guys rate Bran, because it's so weird because Bran is like, he's not a like bad POV in this book. I would say, let me think of Bran. Let me think about Bran for a second. I would say this is definitely not like Bran's worst book by far. I don't think I'd even put him like below a C. I could see a C or a B for Bran. Nothing helped Jon's character pick up more than getting killed. Fair. Jon may have some of the best support in his chapters. I agree, right? Like, you even think about his early chapters, he has Tyrion. Then he gets Sam. He has really good support. In his convo with Arya about arms and sigils, yeah, that's great as well. My name is Joffrey. Is Joffrey the cat slayer? He does kill some cats, Zeno. He does. Or I thought you said your name. I was about to start calling you Joffrey, but my nickname for Joffrey is Joffrey the Cat Slayer. Yeah. I mean, you could take that a different ways, I'm just saying, you might want to be careful with that. Because, I mean, you could also be saying, Joffrey, he's the pussy slayer. I'm just saying. You could take it that way. Hi, Ghost. How are you? The difference, I think, with Arya is that it has information she picks up that we, the reader, can put together if we can catch it. That's a good point. Also, his story gets the closest to itching the other's mystery introduced in the prologue. Yeah, that's a great point as well. Not just building up people, but the plot in general. Everyone can understand the political intrigue in King's Landing, but it takes longer to build up what's going on in the Wall. I agree. Hey, they were kittens. Hey, it's still a cat. Still a cat, April. Ashley, I had to make the joke. It was there. Like, okay, you can't get the pass and not slam dunk the pass, okay? It was there. I had to. I had to. It is what it is, dude. It is what it is. It's a cat. It's a cat. I know it's bad. I know. I like that Nightbot was like, no, April, no more talking. No more spamming. No more spamming. Oh boy. The wall plot and the inevitable invasion by the others is my favorite storyline in the books, and John is the primary POV. I'm a little biased, I guess. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, again, everybody has their bias. My bias is Davos. So, Bran 1 is amazing. It makes the story. Bran 1 is a great chapter for all the characters not named Bran. That's literally my whole thing about Bran, is that Bran is not a character until like Bran 4. Like, he's not really a character. What did we even vote in this? I wasn't really paying attention. I think it was A. We're gonna say it was A. I'm not even sure, honestly. I think it was definitely A. Also, these are in no real particular order. I'm just putting them in here because at some... Also, these are going to have to get, like... minimized. Like, they're going to have to get smaller. But for now, because we don't have a lot of them, we'll just keep it at that. But, you know what? Let's just do Bran. Let's get him out of the way. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. And let's just do Bran. I am not even going to bother putting an S tier here. So, I put an A tier here. No, let's just do this. Let's do this. Okay. Here we go. Again, I don't think that Bran is a D tier per se, but I left it there if somebody wants it to. If Davos does indeed rescue and interact with Rickon and Winds of Winter, then my opinion of his chapters will be higher. Interesting. Okay. Oh, you're good, April. You're good. Voting is rigged. Maybe a little. All we do get the Wyman and Wireless speeches from him. It is true. He's the best. He's our Stannis POV, dude. Bran the Broken. Bran do be kinda a little broken. And more than just one way. You might be saying, oh, well, his legs are broken. I would be saying his brain's now gonna get broken as well. You know? He's warging into humans. He's eating people, more than likely. I mean, he's getting a little broken in many ways. Maybe that's the great symbolism that we've been missing this whole time. Maybe that's it. Maybe George is trying to say that he's going to be Bran the Broken because he's completely going to be broken in every fundamental way. Spiritual, mental, physical. I mean, he'll be a tragic character. Just tragedy. Maybe Bran lives out his days in summer and just Bloodraven takes over his body. How do you think A Song of Ice and Fire will end? I don't even know how to begin with that question. My guess would be there's going to be some sort of pact with the others. I don't think the others get taken out or, like, killed by whatever. But I think there'll be some sort of pact. I think Bran becoming king just fits. I think him becoming king and being like a puppet for the old gods, for the children of the forest, Bloodraven, etc., makes a lot of sense. Okay? And so that really fits, in my opinion, on what George was like saying, how it's gonna be like a bittersweet ending. That would be a very bittersweet ending, where it's like, okay, we beat back the others, or we at least made some treaty. Maybe we have some of our characters go their own way. Some of them get a happy ending, some of them not so much. I can see that being a good ending. Like, that's my overall, like, there's so many different characters to try and, like, say, okay, where is their endpoint at? I don't know. That's, like, my broad one, though. My friend was talking, they will get a democratic system at the end. It's interesting, Xeno, but how do we get there? Like, that's my question. Like, how do we get to a point where we're like, okay, we're not going to have this feudalistic system or whatever, and we go to a democratic system? Because that's a bunch of leaders or lords giving up power, more or less. It's what it is, right? How do you convince all those people? Is it because you say, well, let's look at all this warfare. Let's look at, we almost got wiped out because of this threat of the others, because we were too busy squabbling and having wars, and we had nothing that kind of kept us together. Is that why? Could be. Maybe that's Bloodraven's whole purpose, right? Bloodraven maybe be going, okay, let's manipulate these events to force them into a situation like this. Maybe. I don't know. I agree on your take of Bran and Euron. Tyrion in Season 8 was secretly bragging about his money, calling him Bran the broke boy. That's true. That's true. It'll end with a period or exclamation point. What if there is no period or exclamation mark? What if it's a question mark? Or what if it's a question mark? I think Bran is the king in North, but not Iron Throne. Yeah, I think that's what Voice of Old Town thinks as well. I don't know how I don't know. I'm just he's gonna be I don't know. He's gonna be king of something. John Sansa wedding at the end of it. I don't know, man. That'd be kind of weird. Especially because they're going to be related. So that's going to be kind of weird. He's just Bloodraven's puppet. Of course you'd say that. The other way for Sansa to be queen is to marry Jon or Aegon the 6th. Yeah, that's true. I don't want to know if Bloodraven is really still Bloodraven and not just a meat suit as well, and that Bran is just the next in a long line. Could be like both, right? It could be like half Bloodraven and half not. It could be interesting. Just First Cousins. Sweet Home Alabama just started playing, but in this world, it's not that bad, so I guess you're not wrong. I kind of hope Sansa stays married to Tyrion. Maybe. That's possible. I don't think I see it happening, but it's possible. All right. Kind of in an interesting spot here. Okay, so we're gonna redo this poll. You guys seem very indecisive about Bran. I'm gonna do another poll, and we're gonna do just B and C. Let's really iron this out. So we have no complaints. We're gonna have complaints anyway because people voted for A for some reason. You're lost. That's all I'm gonna say. There's absolutely no way. There's no way in your right mind. Okay, let's just look at this poll real quick. All right, let's look at the tier list so far. You're telling me that Bran as a POV is on the same level as, hold on, as Dany, Jon, Arya, and is better than Sansa. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. It's just wrong. It's not the truth. Okay, it's just not. It's just not. Also, I didn't realize I had my TV on in the background, so if that was distracting anyone, I'm kind of sorry for it. I have the Call of Duty, like, league thing going on right now, so it's interesting. I don't play Call of Duty anymore, but I used to when I was a lot younger. I'm still kind of interested in the competitive side of it, but, you know. Oh my god, there's so many things I'm trying to open and okay. When you realize that Epstein was a real-life Littlefinger? Yep. I think it's inevitable he's gonna be king because the show showed it and they probably got notes from George R. Yeah. So the only thing I could see, Violet, is that George sees how that was reacted to and he changes it. I don't think he should, though. Like, I think the reaction was because Bran, fundamentally in the show, it made no sense. With how they did it, the way they explained it made no sense. Sweet Home Alabama for all of Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's, to be honest. That's honest. That's fair enough. Bran needs to hold this seat. That's fair. That's right. We need to get, we get to hear all old Nan's stories and Bran's chapters. Yes. But at the same time, it's all of Bran's chapters are until chapter 4. Until chapter 4. I have a bias here as well. Because Bran 3, I know people really like in this book, and some people really don't. I don't like this book. I don't like this chapter. Like, Bran's whole awakening chapter, I dislike. Because it just feels so separate from the rest of the story. It just feels like out of nowhere. It's like, okay, you know, we have this one horror kind of magical element at the beginning, and then we're really grounded. And we're really grounded for a while, and everything's kind of connected. And then all of nowhere, you have Bran, like, having this, like, fever dream. And he's just, like, flying and seeing shit, and it's like, okay, this just feels really odd pacing wise. It feels really weird to introduce this now. It's one of those chapters where it's like, okay, depending on how George does it, it'll be received better. But for right now, it just feels really weird. And so, yeah. So then we don't get any actual character development for Bran until like Bran 4. Bran is a vessel in pretty much every chapter he has in the first like 600 pages of this book for other characters. Start of the book, it's to introduce us to Ned, Jon, and Robb. Those characters are the complete focus of the chapter, not Bran. We don't know really anything about Bran in the first chapter. The second chapter for Bran is he's climbing around. We get some stuff where it's like, oh, he likes to climb. He wants to be a knight. Okay, that stuff's interesting, kind of. And then it's, okay, he sees Jaime and Brienne having sex. So the interesting part of the chapter is because, again, of other characters. Of Jaime, or I don't even know who I said. Did I say Jaime and Brienne or Jaime and Cersei? You get the point. And then all that happens, blah, blah, blah. Chapter 3 just feels like, okay, it's completely disconnected from the story. And then chapter 4 is good. It's Bran's best chapter for me up to like where I am in my reread. It gets better, right? I think Bran, am I on Bran 5 or 6? I don't even remember. But the chapter where Robb leaves. Or no, sorry, yeah, Bran 5 is also pretty good. So Bran 4, 5, and 6 are all pretty good because it's a lot of development for Robb. And it's really good between their developments and their like characters are really good. So it's like, it's good. It's not top tier of the book or anything, but it's like, it's definitely a step up from the beginning. And then Robb leaves and it's like, eh. It's like, eh. I don't know. I would be surprised if they keep with a monarchy. Yeah, that's fair. Modern Warfare 2 is sick. I'm gonna keep it 100% with you guys. I haven't like really liked a Call of Duty game since like World War II. And the reason I liked Call of Duty World War II was the end of the game, not the beginning. I didn't play the game when it got first released. I know it was a mess when it first released, but by the end of its life cycle, or like 4 or 5 months in, 6 months when I started playing, it was the best competitive game it was one of the best Call of Duty games in competitive history when it came from a balancing point of view and how the game like played. It didn't have a lot of cheese in it when it came to like competitively. Like if you played the rank modes, it was great. The maps played well for that. Okay. I know why people don't like it. Whatever. And then BO3 was like the last game where I was like, man, this game is just fantastic in almost every single way. So again, I haven't played like the last 3 Call of Duties. I don't like the way Call of Duty's kind of gone with the way it makes maps, the movement, etc. Yeah. I liked OG Call of Duty Zombies. Like after BO3, I just didn't care. There was literally a Red Wedding survivor participating in the summit, and Bran supposedly had a better story than him. Okay, this is what I think is so funny. This also pissed me off so much, okay? The fact that Bran is chosen at this council meeting makes no sense. Let's just think about possible candidates here. Gendry is in the room. He is now a legitimized Baratheon. He actually has a claim to the throne. Okay, fair enough. Edmure kind of steps up, and the show makes it like a joke. They make Edmure a joke in the show. And I'm sitting here like, okay, why is this being discounted right away? Edmure's people, the Riverlands, have been the ones that have been going through all this turmoil, all this war. They've lost the most in this war, this conflict. Edmure quite literally watched his family die because of his own wedding. Like, he is a veteran of a war, and he's the leader of one of the 7 kingdoms. Like, how is that laughed at? I don't understand. And then, so then it's like, okay, you have Edmure, which makes sense, right? Why the fuck would Bran be your nomination? Even when they're like, oh, he has the best story. It's like, what? How? Brienne is sitting here, right? Sansa's sitting here. Arya's sitting here. Tyrion himself is sitting here. Let's make Davos king if we're going off the best story. Like, fuck off. Like, God, season 8. Oh man, I'm gonna lose my shit here in a second. Hi Larissa, how are you? You picked a really interesting time to join as I was going on a rant. So, you know. George said Bran's a king and Sansa's a queen, but not which ones. But he also says in a not a block, he told Dan and Dave who sits the Iron Throne in the end, which mean it doesn't. Yeah, okay, fair enough. That doesn't melt. Yeah, that's fair. My first read through, I got the feeling that the current system was on the way out. That definitely could be. Again, because it sparks a bunch of different conflicts. So maybe the leaders of Westeros come together. They put aside their selfish interests, look for the betterment of the people. That could be. So my thing would be, a theory of Ice and Fire would be, I don't think Dany's going to survive the book or the series. I don't think Young Griff's going to survive the series. Jon, I don't think is going to sit the throne regardless. I don't think he's going to want it. I don't think whatever he does, I don't think he's going to do it. So I don't think you're going to have a Targaryen claimant. Now, okay, you could say Edric. I don't think Edric is going to have the backing to do. So, you know, I could see it, but I don't know. Bran is heir to the North, but no way he sits the Iron Throne. Okay, fair enough. Almost 4K subs. Yes, we are almost there. I don't know what we're gonna do. If we're gonna do anything special for 4K subs, might just be another Q&A like we usually do. But will the dragons melt the throne in the book? I don't think so. I don't think so. I thought that was very cheesy. The Tullys aren't old enough in nobility. It just wouldn't be accepted by houses like the Hightowers. Well, this is my thing, right, Josh? Given the show's logic, the Hightowers basically don't exist. That's my counter argument to that. Also, you have to think about it this way as well. Bronn literally becomes the ruler of Highgarden. I'm pretty sure if that actually happened, the Hightowers would quite literally invade and just take over. But, you know, who knows? The Bran the Broke Boy. The Bran the Broke Boy, greatest rapper of all time. Even Eminem's scared of him. Young Griff should have rolled up with Blackfyre and been made king. It is known. Emir is probably only there, so Sansa, meaning Sophie, could have a badass moment and tell off a man. That's true. I agree, Ashley. And isn't it weird how many kids are lining up to survive the next wars thanks to Varys? Varys, a good guy, Varys, dude. That's all I'm gonna say. Good guy, Varys. My boy Young Griff needs to survive. I like that Aegor. You know, I don't have a Blackfyre thing over there for nothing. I know I have a large Targaryen banner, but that's because there is no large Blackfyre banners because the show cut them. So, you know, Walmart doesn't make the Blackfyre ones. You know, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, right? Like the Targaryens lasted like 300 years. That's it. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about. If you even think about like the different rulerships of Westeros in certain areas, like the Riverlands, they switched hands a couple times. Like stuff like that is very interesting to kind of think about. That would be interesting. On Jaqen. Clearly, he's a good guy. Varys is a good guy. Let's not talk any shit on him, you know? That's the thing, though, is, you know, I've heard people don't like Young Griff. I see, but I don't agree with that, because I know my channel, people love Young Griff. I make a Young Griff video, instantly will do well. Instantly. Also, I'm just going to say it. So my second channel now has the most viewed video between either of my channels, and it actually makes me angry. It actively makes me mad because I'm just sitting here and I'm like, really? Really? Like, I have, like, what? 20 times as many videos on this channel as that channel, and the two videos that, like, did good weren't even good. Like, they were okay videos, but they weren't, like, good. Like, they weren't, like, some of the quality stuff that I do on this channel that I really enjoy doing. Like, man, YouTube works in mysterious ways sometimes. All right, let's figure this out here. Okay, so Bran's going to sea. Bran, get good. Get good. That's all I got to say. Get good. And then you might be up here with the big boys one day. Not going to be probably in this tier list, but, you know, Winds of Winter. There's always Winds of Winter. You know, he could Winds of Winter could get him up here somewhere. You know, it's possible. Let's not, you know, take it out of possibility, but you know. All right. Who else we got here? Let's do Catelyn in book 1. And while you guys vote on this, I'm gonna go take a pee because when I drink water, it goes right through me. So, little bladder problems. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves, and look at my beautiful background, and tell me what your favorite part of it is. So, I'm back. I do feel that Targaryens need to be off the throne, but the Blackfire could claim it. Exactly. We're taking it. We're taking it. Why do people think there is no way Varys saved Aegon, but he can do things like trigger a riot to kidnap Tyrek? Hey, I'm not one of those people, April. I think it's like 50-50. Okay. Okay. My bias makes it 60-40 that he's a Blackfire, but I think he could have. I think it's possible. I can't tell. Did he mute? No, I just left. I left you all to the darkness. Oh, that was such a weird way to phrase that. Young Griff is like Joffrey and being told he's the heir and thinking he is, but he's not really. You know, probably turn dark as he finds it solely he is not Rhaegar's son. But this is slander. It's outrageous. Aegor, execute him for treason. I like the Stark banner in the background. Yeah, classic. I've always liked the yeah, it's always watching. Always watching. When I leave, I have a camera in there. Okay, I can see what you chat. So if you do anything sus, I can see. It's not actually true, but I had one of my coworkers that's painted so many things in my room. So let me go to my Streamlabs camera. Okay, so I had a girl that I worked with. She did the Blackfire thing. It's over there. You can't really see it right now, but it's right there. Unfortunately, because I have a TV on my bed now, you can't really see it well, but it's right there. She did that. She did the eye. You guys can't really see the other ones, but she did a... Here, I'll just show you. Hold on. She did the Chimchar. Oh, let me get my... How do I get my fingers out of the way? Hold on. She did the Chimchar right there, and she also did that Tree of Gondor. So that's pretty cool. Did you do anything else in my room? Trying to think. Anything else? Oh, she also does Smite thing. That's for gaming stuff. For any of you gamers. Fix this. I always hate messing with this thing because I always get it screwed up. But yeah. I have that same eyeball as a pet. I'd love to see it. Jaqen takes young Griff's face. No. Not allowed. No. Just no. It's not happening. That tree, I love trees. Yes. I wanted to get one of the sigils done for the Lord of the Rings. And I was like, you want to do Rohan? It's just like, Rohan's overrated. And I was like, Mordor, I don't know. I wanted a big thing for Sauron for that. And then Isengard, I was like, Isengard would have been a cool one. So it was between Isengard and Gondor. And I was like, Gondor's cooler. I would have done, I could have done like the elves. That would have been cool. Original Black Ops poster. Yes, it is still to this day one of my favorite games of all time. I also have I have a Mewtwo that's like right behind, like what I'm looking at, like what the camera is behind it is like a Mewtwo, and then it has a Mew in it. It's so cool. It's like my favorite thing I have in my room. Here, hold on. If I can give you guys an angle, I'll show you it. I have that. I am repping the Lannister banner right there, and then I got a Spino right there. I just think that's cool. I like Spinos. Great, and I gotta fix that again. Okay, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. We're not gonna mess with it no more. I think he's much more interesting as a Blackfire. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well. Blackwood Sigil. That's a good one. That's what I want. I think I should get painted next. That's a good one. Rohan is not overrated. Quit horsing around. Rohan, they're a little overrated. I'm just gonna say, as a Mordor guy myself, little overrated. I mean, let's be honest here. Mordor should have won the Pelennor Fields, and them stinky horses came up, and they just, you know. Did I spot a Charizard poster too there? Yes, there's a Charizard and a Blastoise poster. It's basically like, it's like if they were going to go in a boxing match or something, I guess. But it's got like their weight, their height. Fun fact, guys. I am taller than Charizard. Only by like 2 inches, but I'm taller than Charizard. Charizard is only 5'7". But I will say, he's got about 60 pounds on me, so that might not be great there. Oh, that was the main thing. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Where are you guys at? I didn't even look at the poll. Where are we at on this poll right now? S tier. Okay. All right. I don't hate that. But hold on. I want to break this down a little further. All right. I think just so people don't get upset. Let's do S and A, and then we'll figure it out from there. Okay. All right. You guys are trolling on the jokes. All right. Don't lie, sure. Whoa. Charizard's only 5'7". Okay. Blastoise is 5'3". If you don't believe me, hold on. Hold on. Let me check where the camera's at. Okay. As you can see, 5'7", 5'3". See? I've now messed up the camera another time. Oh boy. Wait. Yeah. I like that. All right. So vote again for Catelyn, and yeah, figure it out, dude. Figure it out. You guys, some of you guys are just mad that I'm taller than Charizard. I'm sad, you know. Saying. Nah, dude, somebody's lying to you. Charizard probably can. I'm just going off this poster. Might as well title this video a room tour. You guys haven't even seen, like, the other side of my room. You guys have seen, like, half of it. You want a real room? I'll give you the real room tour, okay? So, oh, dude, there's so much I can't even show you. I have, like, another thing, like, below my desk right there. I can't, this one I just can't show you with the webcam because, like, I have another monitor kind of blocking it. But I have, like, for you guys that are Pokemon fans, the Generation 4 legendaries, I've got Palkia, Giratina, and Dialga, just like all on one. It just looks sick. I got like I got an Infernape thing. I've got the YouTube plaque, which I made myself because they don't give out 1,000 YouTube plaques, which is stupid. But I got a YouTube plaque over there. I've got a bunch of like Marvel comics that I've just like got hung up on the wall. I have a Tom Brady thing because Tom Brady's kind of the GOAT. I got a lot of things, man. I got a lot of things. My wall is almost done. I got a couple more things, and now because I don't have a dresser in my room, it's just like in the closet now. It's a little tiny one. I got some space now. Here, I'll give you the rest of the room tour. I explained what it is, but I'll show you the rest. So, right there's a picture of my grandparents and then one of my friends, and then I have just like some friend stuff there. And then I got some stuff over there. By the way, I have that Lord of the Rings calendar right there. I found that in the basement. We have every disc for it. Or not disc, plate. And it's just sick. I've got a little Star Wars thing that one of my friends got me. It's like a comic, but it's like framed and stuff. It's pretty. But that's where my light is now. So yeah. There. That is the full room tour, more or less. That is now. You've seen my room. Okay, if you want to break into my house, you know the layout of my room anyway. Oh God, Josh, don't get me started. Oh God. April, we will be. We will be. You have not seen what I have seen. I'm Galadriel, and I'm better than everyone, okay? I should be the king of, or queen of Westeros. Fuck these guys, honestly. All of them. I'm Galadriel. I'll live for a very long time. You don't even got to worry about the succession. And we're going to have a grand old time. You know? I mean, honestly, I'll vote for it. Oh, it's so close. All right, anyone else that wants to vote for Catelyn? Anyone else? This is our final polling here. This is going to decide where she's at. So if anybody else wants to get a vote in before we confirm it and complain, this is it. Any of you guys? I am not. I'm from the states in the Midwest, where our weather goes from 49 and or 50 in the morning today to by now it's like in the 20s. So, yeah. You know, honestly, this might be the time that we just talk about Ashley's favorite character and how she thinks I hate him for some reason. But honestly, Darkstar, what's up with that guy? You know, what's up with Darkstar? Is he just gonna be like Azor Ahai, or what's going on with him? Let me know what you guys think. He just, you know, for his little screen time, or I guess book time, pages that he has, and what we know about him, you know, kind of crazy. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh, Ashley, don't forget, if next stream or next time we see Matthew, you got to give him shit because he wasn't in the stream. You had to take on all the power. Don't like her. She's mean to John. Yeah, that's fair enough. Dark stuff. Didn't want to be weird, but I'm also in the same area and the weather is whack. See, this isn't weird though, because I've had multiple people tell me like they live like around me, which I think is crazy. Like, okay, put this into perspective. Okay, so this channel has what, like 4,000 subscribers, and let's just say the amount. I don't know how many different people have ever watched my content, but like, let's just say it's like 20. Let's say 20,000 people have watched a single video of my whatever. Okay, and the fact that I've had like at least 3 or 4 people say, oh yeah, I live in like the same area as you, or like they recognize. I have this like Freeburg shirt I wear a lot in like streams and recordings because it's just my relaxing shirt. It's like one of my favorite shirts because it's very comfortable and stuff. And people always be like, "Oh, I know that high school," and I'm like, "That's kind of crazy." So yeah, it's just kind of, it's actually super like weird. But think about it like this: like 20,000 people. Okay, the fact that they not only watch my content enough to where like they feel comfortable even commenting it and figuring out that I am from a certain area is insane, given the odds of like where everyone is. Like a percentage of my audience is not from America, right? So I think the last time I checked, it was like 50% is like American, and then there's like another 50 it's from other countries. A lot of that being like Canada, a lot of it being like the UK or Europe, you know, like. So it's like, it's so crazy to me that it's like, yeah, I don't know. I was 100% sure that, yeah, that's usually what it is. It's super crazy though. Ashley, Darkstar's a great dude. What did I say? I didn't say nothing wrong. I didn't say anything wrong. You didn't cut fake Marcella, fair. But yeah, our weather is kind of whack. Yeah. The fact that it rained, apparently it was supposed to snow. It dropped 30. It's supposed to drop like 30 degrees today or more. And we went from it not being that windy to like, they said on the news this morning, like 40-mile-an-hour winds. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it going from like fall weather in the morning to like deep winter by the afternoon. Like, what is up with that? All right. So you had tornadoes? That's crazy, April. That's crazy. Okay, I'm deciding it. I'm deciding it. Okay, so my factor here is going to be, I think that Danny and Catelyn are almost kind of in the same boat for me. Like, I think it's tough because I think Catelyn is more consistent in her chapters when it comes to later throughout the entire book, really. I think Danny is better in the first half and Catelyn's better in like the second half, more or less. So I don't know. I'm at a weird spot because I'm not going to change the names, by the way. This isn't in order. This is just for putting them into the like bracket that they need to be in. But I don't know. It's close for me. All right. So I think basically the way you're going to do this tier list is that I think Danny and Catelyn should be in the same tier. It doesn't matter if you're putting them in A or S. They should be in the same tier for me. Okay. Let's move on to the big one. Let's do Ned. I don't even got to put a Game of Thrones, but I'm going to for my own sake. Ghost, that feels bad. How's Chicago? How's Chicago, by the way? Let's just throw that out there. It's got a bad rep, especially from, Southern Illinois people. We're not big fans of Chicago. But how's Chicago? I know two people that have like lived in Chicago. One of them I don't talk to at all because it was somebody I went to high school with. And the other one is like a friend it's like a college friend of one of my best friends. It's like I don't know them that well. Hold on. Let me look it up, Ricardo. Hold on. I'm not doing it there. Hold on. I've heard of it, but I don't know how far away I am from it. So that's why I'm going to look it up. Urbana. Okay. I spell it. I want to get the spelling right. Okay, now, how far away is this? Go to Google Maps. Why is I sometimes I hate technology. They've already typed this in and it's not. Hold on. Okay. And let's do directions. So I'm about 3 hours away. I'm basically, put it this way, I'm about 30 minutes away from St. Louis, more or less. S tier. George R. Martin cooked. That's fair. B. I think it's so funny. It's like everybody's like S tier. We're all united in S. Here's somebody. I think Ned's B. It starts getting crucified in the chat. Absolutely crucified. Oh boy. But yeah. America is in a weird place. That's all I'll say, Ryan. It's in a weird place. I mean, we got two basically corpses probably running for the president. We got Biden and Trump. Both of them are like one bad wind away from probably, we don't want to wish death on anyone, but I'm just going to, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So the fact that that's our best presidential candidates that we could find, yeah, not great. I just think the world's in a bad place. Like I talked to Ricky from Voice of Old Town, and we had a whole like discussion about Germany and what's going on right now. And It's a weird time to be alive. Would you say John is the lone wolf of the Starks? I would say that in a lot of ways that would be true, right? Like he is the one that's kind of the outcast. His wolf is different. He's the one that's probably gonna have Targaryen blood, while the others don't. So I would say yeah. You could make an argument for Arya as well, I guess. Yeah, I've heard some questionable things about Canada. So I don't know. I think we're all just in a I don't know. We're in a place. All right, so let's just put Ned Nest here. Let's just get it over with. I don't know. Let's just do the dang thing. Let's do the dang thing. Wait, I'm stupid. We're smarter than them. As Obi-Wan would say, we're smarter than them. Sometimes my brain just doesn't like. That's okay. Sometimes our brains are allowed to not function. Like, you know those times, okay. I've never related more than a class like last semester that I had, and they brought up like how your brain, it was all about like stereotyping and stuff like that, but the example that the teacher used was your brain sometimes just goes on cruise control, right? Because it needs to save brain power. And the example she used was, think about a time when you're driving and you're really just like, you're just kind of cruising, right? You're not, you know, you're not really thinking. And then you like 30 minutes later, you're like, wait, was I like driving that whole time? Like, that's how I feel like almost every time I go to work. I feel like I just zone out. Like, I'm paying attention enough to drive, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll do the prologue and then we'll probably finish this stream out. But this is another weird one, right? Another weird one, because like, where do you put the prologue? It's only one chapter. Like, how much stock do you put in that? Like, this is an interesting debate. We're not gonna have S be an option because that doesn't make any sense. This is a really weird one. I don't even know where I would rank this one. We're having one POV. It's a good one, but I don't know. Exactly, Ultra. That's exactly. Agree. I agree, Larissa. I agree. That's fair. I mean, I think it's very up for interpretation. Like, who is the lone wolf? I think that's very much up for interpretation. I agree, April. I agree. Okay, April, what did you want to vote? Oh, what was your vote going to be? A simply for Let's Dance. It should have been like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing where they start just breaking out in dance moves. A? Okay. They're even better on a Friday evening. I'm glad you guys enjoy them on a Friday evening because they will be like this for the foreseeable future. Until like at least May, they'll be Fridays because the only other times I could do a stream would be in the morning, and that just doesn't really make sense unless I was gonna do Saturday or Sunday in the morning. But also that's another thing with House of the Dragon. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with House of the Dragon because school has really screwed me up and how I was gonna do House of the Dragon. Well, actually, House of the Dragon comes out hot D release date. When is its release date? Okay, really? I gotta type season 2? Come on, man. Also, why does it always default to Yahoo? It's defaulted to Google. The internet pisses me off. All right. So early summer. Okay. So we might be okay then. I might be out of school by the time it starts. So we actually might be okay. We are definitely supposed to be questioning the incest, but I am shocked you guys are putting this in A. Like, I get it, right? It's a great chapter. It's a great opening part of this chapter, but it's only one chapter. Like, I don't know. Like, for me personally, I am someone that does factor in like quantity. Like, how much am I getting out of you? And for me personally, Will would be B. But I don't hate the A. If you guys put him in S, I'd think you're actually crazy. But, you know, I mean, I don't hate the A. Okay, so we'll put him in A. I don't hate that. So, am I missing any Game of Thrones? I can't think of any POVs I'm missing. I think let me just do a think real quick. I think oh, Tyrion. We got Tyrion left. We're not done. We gotta do Tyrion. I almost forgot Tyrion. That's kind of insane. Thank you guys for reminding me. Okay, let's do Tyrion. Tyrion in Game of Thrones. This is another weird one because I don't think Tyrion's S. I think people might put him S, but I don't think he is. I think Tyrion is probably A as well. I don't think he's S tier in this book. I think the next 2 books he is, but this book I don't think so. But we'll see. We'll see what you guys say. I wanted the prologue to be B. Yeah. I think that's where I would have been. The quality, to me, beats the lack of a quantity. Okay, that's fair enough. Again, everybody has their own ranking. That's just the way I look at things. Like, to me, it doesn't really feel right if a character only has 1 chapter to put them as, like, A or S to me. But, and I can't even hate this argument, right? It's like, if Will is A, then Tyrion should be S. Because just given how many quality chapters that Tyrion has. Now, again, if I was ranking the POVs right now off of this list, it'd probably be Ned. Dany and Catelyn would probably be tied for 2. I think I would lean Dany in this book. So I would go Ned, Dany, Cat. And then I would probably go Jon, Arya, then maybe Will, and then Sansa, Bran. That would probably be my list. And then Tyrion would be like, I think Tyrion would be tied with Jon. He would be like 4th or 5th for me, I think. If they only get 1 chapter is equal, mainly because they probably died. Fair enough. I don't know who keeps voting B for these S tiers, but whoever you are, you're a monster. I'm shocked you guys are putting S. Because I know Tyrion really picks up in the second half of the book, but his opening to this book is not very strong. Like, I don't know. Tyrion takes, in my opinion, for me personally, he's a character that takes a little bit to get going. Like, because for the first part of the book, he's not really allowed to have his own character and to develop until really the Veil. And that's about halfway through the book. So, again, I don't mind Tyrion being an S, but for me personally, I'd put him in A just because he kind of struggles in his start. Whereas, like, Dany doesn't have that problem. Catelyn doesn't have that problem. Ned doesn't have that problem. So, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just different in the way I view Ned in the Game of Thrones. But I'd like to hear your, like, opinions. Why do you guys think S? Like, for the people that voted S, the Summer Assault entrance was epic. That's true. But, I mean, like, I don't know. If you voted S, why did you vote S? I'd be curious. Like, why did you vote S? Also, Violet, if you want my opinion, going off of how we've done this so far, Cersei would probably be A, but I would almost be like, she's kind of like, no, I'd say Cersei's a tough one for me. Just because we have Will and A, it throws me off. Like, it throws me off how I'd rate this because Will is here, I would put Cersei in A because Cersei has 10 chapters. She has a lot of solid chapters in there, and she has like 2 or 3 really good ones. So like because of that, Cersei would be in here. Like this throws me off. Like if he was down here, I would have much easier time with your guys'. Like this is the one that throws me off. But that's because that's how I rate things. Like that's how I rate it. So I will be interested to see like what you guys do. He's as tall as any king. Damn it, fair enough. Tyrion is the first character that has his shit together, even though he has such a yeah, okay, fair enough. I get confused with how many overlaps with Tyrion's POV. Jon, Bran, Cat, all in the first. Yeah, so that's my thing, Ian, right? Is that Tyrion in his early story he's not really allowed to be his own character. He's actually kind of like Bran in a way. It's just Tyrion's more interesting to read. And so one of the things that I find interesting is like what April brought up here is like Tyrion does have the benefit of being an adult. His personality is more or less already built. He's not figuring out who he is. Whereas like Jon, Dany, Sansa, Arya, they're still kids. Bran, they're all trying to figure out who they are. So instantly, Tyrion has that factor of being more entertaining. You don't have to build him up as a character as much. You just need to explore what's already happened with his character. And so that's what makes like the second half of his journey in Game of Thrones really interesting. So I don't know. It's a tough one to rank, I think. You're right. I mean, again, that's a great chapter, but it's the problem of like, for me personally, how do you compare one really great chapter compared to like Cersei? Like the argument we were just having, right? Like Cersei is a character that I don't think any of her chapters are probably as good as the prologue. But at the same time, like she has multiple good chapters, right? Like, I don't know. That's a tough one. It's a tough argument in the way like we grade things. Tyrion for me is an S because I'm a sucker for some of his wit, and you can tell Martin loves writing him. The point of having him, I hate that this gets cut off because of this mode. Of having his ducks in a row also helps his character shine. Yes, yeah, that's a valid point, right? Like I think if you're gonna make an argument for why you would have Tyrion as an S tier, I think that's the rationale, right? Because he is someone that's very fun to read. He's an interesting read. He's someone that doesn't need all of as much as like character development from like the idea of identity. I think it all makes sense. Okay, so we are going to do S and A again for Tyrion, since it is kind of close. There is a decent amount of people that put him in B. So I think let's redo it, just so we have this cemented, and go from there. So S, A, and then this will be the final poll for the stream. We kind of got to what I thought we were going to get, just the first book, but she doesn't have any chapters in the Game of Thrones or Clash. Yes. So I mean, like when we get to A Feast for Crows, right? And we're ranking her as a POV in A Feast for Crows, like how we're doing with these. How would we put her on here, right? Like, would you put her in A? Like, what would you do with that? I think he knows, April. I think he knows. I agree. Like that's kind of my thought. Like, I think Tyrion is great, but I think S is kind of that spot where it's like they are, for the most part, a perfect POV, and I don't think Tyrion is that in the first half of his story, for the most part. Yeah, Violet, that's always a good tell. It's like, what is their understanding of the character of Tyrion? That's a very good question to ask. As someone that like watched like part of the show before starting the books, that's a great argument, because that's like somebody that's kind of how I thought until I read the books. That's a great point. Bye Ashley. Thank you for being in stream and being my mod as always. And I will see you in the next stream or next video. Fair enough, April. Fair enough. So far, Tyrion is going to get the S nod, which I find is very interesting, because I think if Tyrion is an S in this book, he's going to be an S in the next two as well, which I think is justified. Like, I would have Tyrion in the next two books easily S tier. So, again, Tyrion's going to be S tier for the next three books, and then I think the last book, he's not. The last book, The last book for me, just trying to think about where I'd even place Tyrion. I think Tyrion would be like here. I think he'd be B. In the last book, he'd be, because I think his first 5-6 chapters are really not really good. Like, some of them are very good, some of them are good, and then after that, I'm just like, yeah, I C and D, just don't care. don't like reading them. I don't know. That's an interesting one. Agreed, April. Agreed. In my opinion, show Tyrion is they made him a hero. You're back already, Ashley. Well, welcome back. But yeah, like, so that's the thing was like Tyrion. It's like there's gonna be a very strong Tyrion case. Is like he is the best POV, just based upon we're gonna have all three. It seems like of him raked to the top. I'm interested though, like of chat right now. I know we're not like doing the tier list of it yet, but where would you guys put Dance of the Dragons Tyrion POV? Like, just based upon this list, where would you put him? That's another tough one. Like, a lot of chapters, but like a lot of them are like forgettable, not so good. And a lot of them are also good as well. So it's like it's a weird, I don't know, it's weird. We're a complete tie for Tyrion right now. So if you want to vote for Tyrion, make sure you get that in. It will be a deciding vote at this point. If not, you're going to leave it into my hands. And nobody likes it when they leave it into my hands. Because then people are like, oh, it's biased. It's rigged. But yeah. That's exactly how I am, Ian. I think the young Griff stuff in that book is fantastic. I like even the stuff with Illyrio as well. I'd say a Dance with Dragons Tyrion is A. Okay. Thanks, Nightbot. You know what, Nightbot? I keep saying I'm going to cancel him, but I don't know. He's okay sometimes. Agreed, Violet. He is. Tyrion equals S. If we put Tyrion S, a Dance of Dragons, we have a problem. Like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way we would put Tyrion, a Dance of Dragons, in S, and Dany, a Game of Thrones, which I think is like her best book. Maybe Storm instead, but in A, that'd be wild to me. I don't know. That'd be wild. All right, we're gonna end it here. Tyrion is going to be an A tier. Okay, so at the last second, someone was like, you know what? Screw this Tyrion guy. He sucks. Get him out of here. He's going in A tier. But like, think about this though. Like, think about this. Think about this list. The Game of Thrones, look at the consistency and quality. Like, think about that. Like, you have almost every POV in the book is an A. You have one in S, and then you only have 2 below A. That's insane. That Clash of Kings is not going to be like this, probably. Oh, God. A Clash of Kings is going to be probably much more diverse. Like, there's going to be a couple here, there's going to be a couple here, there's going to be some here. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. But yeah. Sadness. Hello, man. Please just don't want, people just don't want to give Dany the credit she deserves. I agree, Violet. You know, I agree. I know this is a Stannis channel. I know. But, you know, this is a great time. Thanks to you all. Thank you guys for all joining. It was a little earlier of a stream, but, you know, it was a great time as well. But I will see you guys all in the next one. Again, next Friday, just a reminder, I will be on Ricky's channel, so Voice of Old Town's channel. If you want to stop by and all that.